How did he fool pilots, doctors, and the FBI? This is the true story of the incredible psychological mind tricks used by one of the greatest conmen of the 20th century, Frank Abagnale Jr. The conman, portrayed by Leonardo DiCaprio in the movie Catch Me If You Can, masterfully exploited logical fallacies and cognitive biases to manipulate his victims. Here's how he did it. 1. Authority bias. Trusting the badge or uniform. Frank walks into a bank in full pilot uniform to cash forged checks, and the tellers don't question his credentials. Frank's pilot uniform automatically garners respect and trust because people tend to defer to perceived authority figures. People often assume that someone in a uniform is legitimate, bypassing their critical thinking. 2nd, halo effect. First impressions clouding judgment. When posing as a substitute teacher or a doctor, his polished demeanor and confidence prevent others from scrutinizing his qualifications. Frank is charismatic, well-dressed, and confident, creating a positive first impression that makes people overlook inconsistencies in his story. 3. Anchoring bias. Setting the anchor early. Frank sets the tone by presenting an initial, convincing lie that frames how others perceive him. Introducing himself as a pilot immediately shifts the focus to his presumed profession, anchoring others to that belief. Once someone anchors to an initial piece of information, they're less likely to question its validity. 4. Confirmation bias. Seeing only what you expect. Frank feeds people information that aligns with what they already believe or want to believe. Bank employees assume Frank must be legitimate because he behaves as they expect a pilot or lawyer to behave. 5. Scarcity bias. Creating urgency.
In every scam, no matter how sophisticated or how amateur, there are 2 red flags. The first red flag is at some point I'm going to ask you to give me money, and the money has to be immediately. You have to give me a credit card right now on the phone. You have to give me a bank account number.
Frank uses time pressure to make people act quickly without verifying his story.
May I help you?
Hello, I'm calling about a uniform. I'm a co-pilot based out of San Francisco. I flew a flight into New York last night, but the problem is I'm headed out to Paris in 3 hours.
He forges checks and insists they be cashed immediately due to urgent business matters. The perceived scarcity of time triggers impulsive decisions. 6. Appeal to emotion. Exploiting sympathy. Frank tugs on people's emotions, particularly their compassion, to gain their trust. He fabricates sob stories about needing money to help family or escape difficult situations. Emotional appeals often bypass logical reasoning. 7. Bandwagon effect. Everyone else trusts him, so he must be legitimate. Frank leverages social proof by pretending to be a part of reputable institutions like Pan Am or hospitals. People feel safer trusting someone who appears to be endorsed by a larger group or institution. 8. Optimism bias. Belief in good intentions. Victims often assume Frank's intentions are good, overlooking the possibility of deception. Hotel staff give him access to facilities and services on credit, assuming he will settle the bill later. 9. Illusion of control. Overconfidence in reading people. People often believe they are better at spotting deception and dishonesty than they actually are. 10. Sunk cost fallacy. Sticking with a bad decision. Once someone has invested time or resources in Frank, they're reluctant to admit they've been duped. A romantic partner who suspects Frank's lies but continues to believe in him because of months of emotional investment. People hate admitting that their initial decisions were wrong and prefer to double down instead. Frank's schemes succeeded because he had a deep understanding of how people think and exploited the mental shortcuts they use to save effort. He blended multiple biases and fallacies seamlessly, creating an illusion of legitimacy that his victims rarely questioned until it was too late. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any new videos. If you wish to learn how to guard your own mind against such manipulation and trickery, check out the book Unfunk Your Mind, which has 365 such logical fallacies, cognitive biases, mental models, and critical thinking techniques to create the best you.